talk about the COVID-19 vaccines these days. So how do you find out if getting vaccinated is right for you? By talking to someone you already trust, your doctor or healthcare provider. They'll answer your questions so you can decide what's best for you and your family. Go to getvaccineanswers.org to find out more. That's getvaccineanswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Also this week, the House passed H.R. 4996. That's the Ocean Shipping Reform Act of 2021. We've been having trouble shipping because of the ocean carriers not willing to take U.S. exports. But this new law will ensure ocean carriers don't decline to ship U.S. exports. Very important. It's a move that could boost agriculture producers who have struggled getting their products to market amid the supply chain bottleneck. Right now, the bipartisan bill would prohibit ocean carriers from declining to ship U.S. exports and would give avenues of recourse to the U.S. shipping industry under the Federal Maritime Commission. It's very important, and hope they'll get that solved to make sure they take U.S. exports. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Today we'll have sun and some clouds and a high of 81 to 83, then mainly clear skies tonight, low 65 to 68. Tuesday will be mostly sunny and pleasant, high tomorrow 80 to 82, then a mix of clouds and sunshine Wednesday with a passing shower in the afternoon, high 78 to 81. Mostly sunny Thursday and Friday, high Thursday 80 to 83, Friday 80 to 84. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Waldron.
Just in case you don't know, there's a real Italian bakery in Ocala. The name is the Magnolia Bakery. Cannolis and traditional Italian pastries, and they're famous. Italian cheesecake too. And they have hot and cold lunch Tuesday through Saturday 10 to 3. When you spend $8, you get free pizza dough or bread. So call your order in ahead and save time. Call 352-207-2667. Magnolia Bakery on North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala. 352-207-2667. Merry Christmas and God bless.
Hi, this is Jack O'Brien, and I could tell you stories. George and Andy sat on opposite ends of the boat. Whenever the kids could get away, they brought the family to visit Grandpa and Gram, and George loved spending time with his grandson Andy. He saw a lot of Adam, his son, in him, and he even saw a lot of himself. The way Andy took off his ball cap to scratch his head, and the way he rolled his eyes, and even the way he stood with one knee bent and his hands in his pockets. Those were all mannerisms that George had perfected a generation before Andy arrived. "You still think you have a worm on there, buddy?" Andy answered without looking over. "Pretty sure. You might want to check it. These bass in Lake Harris are tricky. Guys fish here every day of the year, all day long. Makes them smarter than the fish up north, you know. If you went to school all year round, you'd learn more, too. Maybe they should do that." Andy smiled. This time he looked right at his grandpa. "You fish every day. Let's see your stringer." "You're right. I should be a lot better at this than I am. Thing is, I don't come out here to catch something. I come out here to be part of what's here, the nature, the fresh air, and you. It's great just to spend time with you, even if we don't catch any fish." "I like it too," Andy replied. There's another minute without conversation, and Andy spoke up. "Grandpa, someday I'd like to be just like you." It was sort of a shock to hear that. "Why would you want to be like me, Andy?" "I think you did some important stuff, and you're happy. You're not always busy going to meetings and traveling. You have a really nice house and this cool boat and stuff." "Well, there's a reason you might not want to be like me, too, buddy. Things you don't know because they happened before you came along. Did you know I was married before I met your Gram?" Andy tugged on the brim of his ball cap. "Yeah, she was a nice woman, and I treated her very unkindly. I never blamed her for leaving, especially since if she hadn't, I'd have never met Gram, and I've never known you." "But you fought in the war, right?" "Yeah, but not because I wanted to. I mean, they didn't give me a choice. The draft, it's called, and it's like legal kidnapping. They take you and they give you a rifle and they put you in a jungle where other guys are shooting at you. You're really stuck there until time comes to go home or where you get shot. I thought everyone just went because, I don't know. Well, we all went because we love our country, but we didn't love the idea of maybe dying for it. You started my dad's business, though, didn't you?" "No, not really. I was a partner with my best friend, and we had this little business until he got drunk one night and ran into a tree. I just inherited it, kind of like your dad inherited it from me. You know, construction is a tough business, Andy. In order for your dad to make it work and support you and the family, he has to put in a lot of time. But at least he's not in the desert fighting a war and away from you all for 2 or 3 years. Andy, this is all important stuff you're thinking about, and I have the feeling you'll figure it all out. But don't be like me. I mean, I was just a gust of wind in a hurricane, pretty soon forgotten. So if you want to be like someone, be like your dad. I'm so proud of him, especially because I see what a wonderful boy he raised. You're special, Andy, and that has to come from somewhere. So make him just as proud of you as I am. And it just seems right that with that beautiful, affirming statement that one of them would feel a tug on their line and joyfully reel in a mammoth bass. Yeah, that didn't happen. So now, instead of some 10-pound fighter that took an hour to land, they're just going to have that 2-minute conversation to remember. And it'll probably stay with them for the rest of their lives. This is Jack O'Brien. Thanks for listening.
Like what you've just heard? I Could Tell You Stories with Jack O'Brien is brought to you by Brick City Digital. Hi, I'm Michael Warren, and at Brick City Digital Marketing, we believe every business has a great story to tell. Our job is to help your business tell your story in a way that brings more customers to your door. We help small businesses just like yours with web design, social media, SEO, video, and more. Visit us online at brickcity.com or call 352-351-1131 for a free consultation.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Hour 2 of Ocala Talks. I'm your host, Tom Schmidt, coming to you from the studios of WOCA Radio, just off the runway of the Ocala International Airport in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. The Christmas parade happened on Saturday night. From all indications, it was a roaring success. It looks to be another great Christmas parade for the city of Ocala. I did not get down to the parade route myself. I was doing other things, but it does look like that it was a big success. Sue Mosley, once again, I saw the photographs and everything. Looks like everybody was having a great time. The Ocala Police Department and the job that they do, and all the volunteers that work for the county and the city that come out and volunteer their time to make this Christmas parade a happening. To all the people on the Christmas parade committee that give of their time selflessly to make sure that this comes off without a hitch. Again, did a great job, it looks like. Estimates of 60 to 65,000 people in attendance. It's not exact science, but that's a guesstimation, I would guess. Again, solidifying the Ocala Christmas Parade as the largest nighttime parade in the state of Florida, a holiday parade in the state of Florida. So really, really good time. The reindeer run went off without a hitch again. April Savarese and her group at the Boys and Girls Club helping out with the reindeer run. It went off again flawlessly. And I'm to understand the pancake breakfast was really good at the Kiwanis Club, that the Kiwanis Club put on at 8th Street Elementary. So all in all, a great Saturday. If you were out and about at the parade or taking in the festivities of the parade, I'm to understand that people started lining the boulevard as early as 1 in the afternoon for a parade that doesn't even start till almost 6 o'clock. But it was, it was back. It took a hiatus last year because of the pandemic. And it with the Christmas parade coming back, it gave a little bit of normalcy back. Just another illustration of normal life back to the way it should be with this pandemic. Over the weekend, a couple scientists put out studies that said the Omicron variant, you need a booster. 2 shots aren't enough. Imagine that. 2 shots aren't enough, so you need to get a booster so they can make more money. I think it's well documented. I'll be taking no booster. I've had all the ill effects from a shot that I'm going to get. I took the first 2 shots and had bad side effects, so I'm not taking a booster. But if you want to take a booster, go get a booster. But that came out over the weekend as well, that this Omicron variant may not You may need the third booster. You may need the booster shot to have any effect against it. Yeah, because they need to pad that pocket some more at the pharmaceutical company. Also over the weekend, my wife and I took in the Ocala Civic Theater's play of It's a Wonderful Life. Fantastic adaptation of this play. It was done they didn't act the play out as if it was the movie It's a Wonderful Life. They did it as they were radio actors doing a live radio production of It's a Wonderful Life for listeners on WBRF out of New York City. It was really good. It's a Wonderful Life. That's how the guy, the host of the show, called it. Put a lot of emphasis on the word "it's." But it was a really well done play. It's on until December 19th, so it goes through next weekend. But really, really well done. And I suggest if you get a chance to go out and see the radio adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life on stage at the Ocala Civic Theater. We've seen every show so far this season, and they've just done a really, really good job. We're so lucky to have that kind of a gym here in our area, to have the Ocala Civic Theater in our backyard. And the quality of productions they put on at this theater is second to none. They do a really, really good job. And this season, so far this season, we saw Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Paper Thin, and now It's a Wonderful Life. Then you got Around the World in 80 Days is coming up next, and then Underneath the Lintel, and then they close the season with an adaptation of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. So still a lot to go on at OCT, but if you haven't got a chance to go see It's a Wonderful Life. And, the other thing I liked was the theater was full. Yep, people came out in droves to see this play. And this season, the first show of the season, there were. We went and saw the last show we saw last season was the $1 Million Quartet, which was the last play we saw, musical or play we saw last year was the $1 Million Quartet, which was about the night at Sun Records that Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Elvis showed up. There's an iconic photo of that grouping. Well, we saw that, and we saw that with cardboard cutouts in the seats because of the pandemic. No more cardboard cutouts now. It's full theater and it's full open. And there's just something about the energy when the crowd is full. And the applause and the laughter and the just emotions that you see. It's just so much better when the theater has people in it. And don't get me wrong, we went and saw with the cardboard cutouts, they had about half the theater was full, but the other half was cardboard cutouts because of social distancing. So this time, though, the theater was full, and it was a really, really, we went and saw the 2 o'clock Saturday matinee, and it was a really, really good play. About 2 hours and 10 minutes with a couple of intermissions. It was pretty good. 15-minute intermission and 5-minute intermission. So if you hadn't had a chance to see it, this is your last week to see it. It's a Wonderful Life at the Ocala Civic Theater. We're going to take a break. Come back more on Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Business Leaders Incorporated is a group of independent local firms providing a wide range of quality goods and services. Each firm strives to maintain the highest level of professional integrity and 100% customer satisfaction. When you're looking for goods and services, call a member of the Ocala Business Leaders, and we are confident you will be pleased with the results. If you're interested